Alright, hi. Adekyn cannot do the voice over due to bronchitis, so I will play the role of Adekyn on this video. Welcome to part 3 of our first look at Railway Empire to scenario 13 called Sitting on the Fence. In part 2 we worked out our plan for tackling our next set of tasks. Refer to the link in the upper right hand corner of your screen to see part 2 if you haven't already watched it. Refer to the link in the description to see our plan for tackling our current tasks. We will jump right back into the action. Since commentary will be limited, it would be useful to have the plan available for reference. Again, see the link in the video description. We have available bond money. I should have simply taken the largest bond available but wanted to see if there was the opportunity to open to bonds and unfortunately miscalculated and took the smallest bond. A definite mistake, but we should be able to get over it. We are double tracking the Paris to Nancy line. It will be important as a multiple train passenger line. We also see the small tunnels that I missed last episode, then needs to be cleaned up. We will also double track Nancy to Strasbourg, as it will be the way all those lovely passengers will make their way to Strasbourg from all over our network. We will add a train so that we aren't losing passengers at the Nancy station who tire of waiting. Ideally, we would have plenty of trains on all the express lines to maximize our volume of passengers and mail, but we have to prioritize other ways to spend our money right now. We are using Nancy as a passenger hub for most of the traffic from French cities to Strasbourg, so this line from Dijon will run to Nancy. It should allow for Dijon-based passengers to travel to Strasbourg through Nancy. We need a little faux double track so we can set signals and make sure the Dijon to Nancy line doesn't hold up or get held up by the Paris to Nancy line. Confirming that Strasbourg passengers can go to Dijon, which means Dijon passengers can go to Strasbourg. I have to admit, at first I didn't realize how I had tucked the Dijon station into the mountain, making a connection to Auxerre more difficult. Auxerre will need maintenance since Dijon has a restaurant, post office combo. And yes, we shall see that Auxerre can send passengers to Strasbourg. Almost there on the 14 cities. I'm content to keep plodding on this because it is growing our economic engine as well as getting our next task done. We will need a lot of money to set up city growth and ship and produce the tools, chemicals, and weapons we need, not to mention the raw materials needed to supply those industries. The quarterly report shows our economic engine going from near zero to 4 million quarterly profit. That's more like it. Of course, we did have to bonuses totaling 1.5 million, so let's temper our enthusiasm a little bit. Current available research isn't too exciting. Increased factory profit will be a definite want later, but right now we don't have any factories, so it looks like decreased supplies for our trains will do. And, yes, Orléans can send passengers to Strasbourg, so we have increased the passenger and mail traffic on all the lines between Orléans and Strasbourg, as well as creating the profitable direct line from Orléans to Auxerre. Here's another case of should have paid more attention to the terrain. We don't need our station in Lyons pointing straight at a mountain.
Take a look at the Prussian rail network. They are in a much better position. We need even more tracks if we want to win this war.
There we go, another task completed. 14 cities are now connected. All 13 other cities are sending passengers and mail to Strasbourg. Our economic engine is in significantly better shape. I said all 13 other cities could send passengers to Strasbourg, but I don't seem to be able to find Lyons on the passenger list. Did I miss it? Whew, at least we see Strasbourg on the Lyons list. This is a tough decision point. We have a business opportunity in Eindhoven. A meat industry would be perfect there for city growth in our Belgium, Netherlands cluster. It is time to start growing the Paris-Nancy-Strasbourg cluster. This is very important to grow Paris, to receive tools, to help with our 4 large cities, to provide industry slots for steel, chemicals, tools, and weapons, and to make us a lot of money and create a lot of company value. After considerable frustration with tunnel, bridge construction, I remembered that for now the Paris to Nancy and Nancy to Strasbourg track will be shared between our express lines and freight lines, so went with a simple tunnel and quick connection. I can hear some you shouting at your monitor or phone. Adekyn, you are using your passenger station in Strasbourg. You are correct. This is a mistake which we will correct in a bit. We will add trains to the line as we accrue the funds. Here I realized that I forgot to stop in Nancy on the return from Paris. This would not work well because items that need to move from Nancy to Strasbourg would tend to be left behind or carried inefficiently from Nancy to Paris back to Strasbourg. Nancy Freight will be a busy station, so a dispatch hall seems appropriate to decrease the time each train spends in station. We will put repairs in Paris and Strasbourg so that we can have the warehouse and dispatch hall in Nancy and keep things moving. We can later add dispatch halls to the Paris and Strasbourg freight stations so that all three process trains quickly.
Adding the Strasbourg freight station is a bit clumsy due to the existing buildings, but we can make it work. We just need to make sure we can have all 8 platforms should we ever need them and can get a clean shot out of the station to the connecting track going to Nancy. Now the challenge is to modify the train line to use Strasbourg freight rather than Strasbourg passenger and to get the rest of the trains for the line deployed. The game handles this really well. Once we make the train line changes, the trains remaining to be deployed will simply deploy from whatever station is first on the route, in this case Nancy. Now I'm using the flow of goods tool to locate sources of coal, iron, and wood to plan out where to put industries to support steel, tools, chemicals, and weapons. You've been watching this video for almost 30 minutes. Have you hit the like button? What's keeping you from showing Adekyn some love? He's making these videos for you despite being deathly ill. Alright, that's a bit of hyperbole, but I don't feel great. Are you shocked, Adekyn, for getting supply depots? I'm not sure we have ever seen that on this channel. Need to bring in basic building blocks: wood, corn, grain, sugar to the Strasbourg-Nancy-Paris cluster. We will put in a little faux double track here rather than extend the line all the way back to the grain station. The research options here are underwhelming. We would like increased passengers, but that is to stars, and we will be getting into factories soon enough, so we may as well grab increased profitability of our factories. Decided here to increase throughput at the Nancy freight station a bit more by making for platforms available. You can see a bit of traffic heading into the Strasbourg passenger station. Eventually, we will add double track from each of the 3 freight stations in this cluster to separate the passenger and freight traffic and improve throughput. Once we get into the more stage, managing throughput becomes a major issue. We should plan for it to the extent possible, but at the same time realize that compromises have to be made along the way due to limited funds and a ticking clock, also known as due dates on a task list. We can see we have some nicely profitable lines. We are starting to look like a railroad corporation. No, wait, that is a different game which you should be playing if you don't already. It's a fantastic train, business simulation, scenario, puzzle-solving game. We are going to double track the grain line and use it as a means of hooking up sugar with is to the southeast of the current track. Double tracking the Nancy to Dijon track so we can piggyback off it to bring vegetables into the Strasbourg-Nancy-Paris cluster. I've got to remember to show the contour lines when placing stations. Did you see that route? Ouch. So I'm seeing the train goes to such and such station only to turn around, and I'm wondering why, then realize I need a direct connection from the Nancy freight station to the Nancy Dijon track. That's better, and the route time estimate was cut in half. So now we have wood, corn, grain, sugar, vegetables, and milk going into the Nancy warehouse. We will have to monitor the needs of the 3 cities in the cluster and potentially add trains to the routes, but for now we should be good to go with 1 train. I don't know why I didn't grab a bond. That's not like me. I know I took a break just now, so maybe I forgot. Somebody wanted to give me money and I forgot. Not likely. Decided to grab some low-hanging fruit and run wool to Strasbourg to ensure steady textile production. Wool is being delivered by land routes right now, but we may as well get paid for it. Set it up so it would also pick up wood. This will help keep the line running, take a little pressure off the freight trains from Nancy to Strasbourg, since wood will tend to be well supplied in Strasbourg and make Strasbourg a good place for a wood-based industry, tools, paper, furniture down the road. Priority is set to wool since that is the main goal. If we later add a wood-needing industry in Strasbourg, we will add a second line with the priority as wood, so we don't get in a situation where old trains are just hauling wool. Since Amsterdam has a textile industry, adding the clothing industry seems like a good choice. We won't need to transport the textile from another city to supply the clothing, and since we have our pass-through warehouse 3-city cluster Amsterdam, Nancy, Luxembourg, the clothing will have 3 customers and automatically added to our existing train line. Finally, I punch in and grab a bond. These northern cluster lines definitely need more trains. That was a mistake not to put more trains on them from the start. Basically, by modifying the line to go on to Brussels and back to Nancy and making it for trains, we have made the Groningen and Nancy-Brussels line 6 trains, including the 2 we already had running the full route. Those warning signals on corn and sugar are an indication that we are not taking raw materials out of the Eindhoven warehouse quickly enough. We just add 2 more trains for a total of 4 to the line. That line will get some more attention in our next episode. We can see that our warehouse in Nancy is starting to get raw materials and is starting to work. There are no warning signs, so for now we have enough trains. We also have them running freight only with separate passenger, mail lines, which is definitely stronger than using automatic trains as we are doing in the north. That will change. Since we have double track, let's take advantage and add a train to the Dijon-Nancy Express line. Decided to make Auxerre a steel mill by buying its existing industry, knocking it down and replacing it with the steel mill. It is located between our lone coal source and our lone iron ore source. Now, I want to double-track Auxerre to Dijon, anticipating some important industries to go in these cities.
Hallo! I have already analyzed your situation. You will file for bankruptcy soon.
Shut up, Walter. We are worth 15 million, you are worth 5 million. I apologize, I went off script. I know Adekyn is not usually that rude. I abruptly stopped right here, and so shall we. I probably got tired. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you saw something that can improve your gameplay. I hope you will like, comment, and subscribe and join us for our next Railway Empire to video. Thank you.